Lipid profile explained. Somewhere on your blood report is a small cluster of numbers under a heading like lipid profile or cholesterol panel. For most of us, it is the quietly most important set of numbers on the page. Because in India, more than almost anywhere on Earth, heart disease tends to arrive early and often without warning. And yet most people glance at a single line, decide they are either fine or doomed, and miss what the panel is actually trying to say. So let us read it together, calmly and completely. No fear, just the why. Here is the first thing to unlearn. A lipid profile is not one cholesterol number. It is a small team of numbers working together to estimate one thing: how likely fat is to slowly build up inside your artery walls over the years. And cholesterol itself is not a villain. Your body makes it on purpose every single day to build your cells, your hormones, and the bile that digests your food. The real question the panel asks is not whether cholesterol is bad, but whether too much of the wrong kind is being carried into your arteries. So who carries it? Fat cannot dissolve in blood, so it travels inside tiny carriers, and the panel is really counting traffic. LDL, often called the bad cholesterol, is the delivery van. It drops cholesterol off, and when there is too much around, some gets left in the artery wall, where it slowly builds into plaque. HDL, the so-called good cholesterol, is the cleanup crew. It picks up the excess and carries it back to the liver. And triglycerides are simply fat used for energy, ferried in their own carriers, which rise after big, sugary, or oily meals. It is not poison. It is traffic. And the panel is the traffic report. Now look at the lines themselves. Total cholesterol is everything added together, useful but too blunt on its own. LDL is the main number doctors watch, because it is the one most directly linked to clogged arteries. HDL you want higher, not lower. Triglycerides you want lower. And there is one more quietly powerful number, often printed as non-HDL, which is simply all the harmful carriers added up, the total minus the good. One catch worth knowing: your LDL is usually not measured directly but worked out by a formula, and that formula becomes unreliable when your triglycerides are high, or when you have eaten just before the test. So treat the numbers as a picture, not a verdict. So what counts as a good number? Here is the part most people get wrong. There is no single normal LDL that is right for everyone. Your target depends on your overall risk. For someone young and otherwise healthy, a moderately low LDL is perfectly fine. But for someone with diabetes or who has already had a heart problem, the safe target is far lower, because their arteries have much less room to spare. As a rough orientation, higher HDL is protective, very low HDL is not. Triglycerides have their own healthy ceiling, and the higher your LDL and non-HDL climb, the more it is worth acting on. But the exact line that matters for you is set by your risk, with your doctor, not by a single chart on a wall. And here is why all this matters so much for us. South Asians tend to carry a particular sneaky pattern: high triglycerides, low HDL, and a lot of small, dense LDL particles, even when the total cholesterol looks perfectly normal, and even in people who are quite slim. A report that reads normal can still be hiding real risk, which is exactly why that non-HDL number and your triglycerides often matter more for us than a single cholesterol figure. It is part of why heart attacks tend to strike Indians 5 to 10 years earlier than in the West. A normal-looking panel is reassuring, but for us, it is not always the whole story. Two things, in fact, can hide inside a normal-looking report. The first is that small, dense LDL pattern we just met. A calm cholesterol number sitting quietly beside low HDL and high triglycerides, which together are not calm at all. The second is a particle called lipoprotein. It is a cholesterol carrier you simply inherit, set almost entirely by your genes, so diet and the usual medicines barely move it, and it is more common in South Asians. Because it does not change through your life, you only ever need to check it once. If it is high, it quietly raises your risk, and it tells your doctor to be that much more careful with everything else. Now, a few practical things people always ask. Do you need to fast? For a routine check, more and more the answer is no. A non-fasting sample is fine for most of the panel, though fasting still helps when triglycerides are the main concern. And a lipid profile can be thrown off temporarily by all sorts of things. An underactive thyroid, uncontrolled diabetes, kidney or liver trouble, heavy alcohol, pregnancy, certain medicines, even a recent illness or infection, which can actually push your cholesterol down for a while. So a single surprising result is rarely the final word. In truth, that is the rule for the whole panel. One reading is not a diagnosis. Your lipids drift naturally from week to week, so a value that lands just over a line is usually rechecked before anyone acts on it. A careful doctor confirms the pattern over a few weeks and looks for those other explanations first, before labeling anyone. The honest signal here is the trend across time, not one number on one ordinary morning. And that is the heart of this channel, no fear, just the why. Your lipid profile is not a verdict on your discipline, and it is not a sentence. It is an estimate. A careful, early estimate of risk. And risk is something you can understand, and very often gently lower. So what actually moves these numbers? Food does the most. For LDL, the big lever is cutting saturated and especially trans fats. The vanaspati, the bakery shortening, the cooking oil reused until it turns dark, and replacing them with more fiber from dal, oats, vegetables, and fruit, and with healthier fats like nuts. For triglycerides, the lever is different. Less sugar, fewer refined flour foods, less alcohol, and losing even a little extra weight. Regular brisk exercise lifts your good HDL, and so does quitting smoking. But be honest with yourself about the scale of this. Lifestyle usually moves LDL modestly, meaningfully, but modestly. It is the foundation everyone builds on, not always the whole treatment. So who should actually get this test and when? In India, it is worth a first check by around the age of 30. And earlier if heart disease runs in your family, or if you have diabetes, high blood pressure, a larger waist, or you smoke. If everything is normal and your risk is low, once every few years is usually enough. More often if something needs watching. It is inexpensive, widely available, and for a routine look, you usually do not even need to fast for it. And if your doctor does suggest a medicine, most often a statin, here is the calm truth about it. Statins work by helping your liver pull more LDL out of your blood, and they help stabilize existing plaque so it is less likely to rupture, which is what quietly prevents so many heart attacks. They are prescribed by your overall risk, not by the number alone. The very same LDL can need treating in one person and not in another. Serious side effects are genuinely rare. The muscle aches people worry about are often milder than feared or not from the drug at all. Still, if you do notice new muscle aches after starting one, tell your doctor who will check. Usually it is not the statin, but it is always worth saying. There are other medicines too, for very high triglycerides, or for the stubborn inherited kind of high cholesterol that runs in families. But please hear the one firm rule. Never start, stop, or change a statin or any lipid medicine because of a video. That decision belongs to you and your doctor. Read in the context of your whole story. So, the honest takeaway. A lipid profile is not one number. It is a small team of them, estimating how likely fat is to build up in your arteries. LDL and non-HDL are the ones to watch. HDL you want high, triglycerides low, and there is no single normal because your target depends on your risk. A normal-looking panel can still hide the South Asian pattern, so read it whole and read it with your doctor. Want all of this, the numbers, the targets, and the cautions on one clear page? Comment the word honest and we will send you our free cheat sheet. If this turned a baffling row of numbers into something you can actually read, that is exactly why we are here. Subscribe and share it with someone who has a cholesterol report sitting at home, unread. We make health make sense. One last important note. This is general information, not medical advice. It cannot interpret your own report or set the right target for you. Only your doctor, who knows your full history, can do that. And please never start, stop, or change a statin or any lipid medicine based on a video.